Alright, what's going on, guys? So first off, let me just say really quick that I don't like reactionary videos. I don't do that very often. I don't like, when people just react to, like some kind of news or announcement, because usually it's much more emotional than I prefer. I prefer like a much more kind of level-headed, even-keeled look at something. But god damn it, Wizards of the Coast, they've done a thing. So if you haven't heard, Wizards of the Coast has updated their gift packs. Now, if you weren't familiar with these, and it's understandable, it was kind of a flop for good reason. The gift packs were released last year. They were clearly, without question, trying to emulate the Pokemon EX boxes, but they were strictly worse in pretty much every way imaginable. Like the gift pack had 3 packs, the EX box had 4, and then the EX box had really good competitive cards, and the gift pack for Magic the Gathering very much did not. It had pretty bad cards. I mean, it did have Karizev, which ended up being pretty good, and Metalwork Colossus is also pretty decent. So they were decent cards, but the one less pack, having only 3 packs, made it just completely not worth it at all. Like, there's no reason to buy it, literally whatsoever. There was literally no reason to pay money for it. It didn't make sense. You could buy everything individually for less, so why pay extra money for the gift pack? That was the problem with it. And the new gift pack, well, I have good news and I have bad news. So the good news is they actually have 4 boosters now. Here's what it looks like. 4 packs, you can't see them, they're in the back, but there's 4 booster packs in it now. The problem is they took out the good cards and replaced them with absolute trash. And that's not just my opinion. They literally said in the announcement article that these were, I think they described it as Planeswalker deck level cards, which is to say, bad cards. They're very Timmy rares, big giant creatures that don't really do anything, but they're big, I guess. The problem is, once again, when you compare it to the Pokemon EX box, it's still just really, really bad. It's $20, it's got 4 boosters, so at MSRP, it's got $16 worth of boosters in it, so they compare to the Pokemon EX box in that regard. But then in the EX box, you get a good tournament quality card. And in the Magic the Gathering version, the gift pack, you get crap. You get trash. So it's still not worth it. It's just, it doesn't make sense. I don't know why they can't do it correctly. Why can they not, like, they're on the right track, but they're like, they cannot get it right. All they needed to do was keep the, like, casual competitive cards in it, and it would have been fine. If this would have had just a couple, like, $1 to $2 cards in it, then it would probably be, okay. But as it is, once again, it's still not worth it. And it's frustrating that for some reason Wizards of the Coast just can't figure that out. You need to make it worth people's money if they're going to buy a product. It's frustrating. There's no reason why this can't contain good cards. There's no reason it can't contain, I don't know, you could put a Steel Leaf Champion in this and it would be amazing. Because you'd be getting $16 worth of boosters. You'd be getting, like, what is Steel Leaf Champion now? It's like $3 to $5. It's not a crazy expensive card, but it becomes close to being worth it. Unlike now, which is, well, not worth it. I mean, it seems simple, but Wizards of the Coast can't seem to figure that out. And unfortunately, judging by the social media response, the Magic the Gathering players agree with Wizards of the Coast, or at least some of them do. I mean, I've seen some of the, the bickering back and forth, but you see these Magic the Gathering players, when you say, like, hey, this should contain like a $5 to $10 rare, and then it would be really good, and they always say, well, you can't do that because then they'd sell out really fast. What kind of logic is that? What kind of Stockholm syndrome is it when people are like, these products have to be bad so they don't sell? Like, how does that make sense? How does it make sense to say, we can't make products that will sell. We need to make sure that they're just bad enough so that no one buys them. Yeah, that makes perfect business sense. Yes, let's continue to make products that aren't worth it to buy so that nobody buys them. That'll be, my local gaming store owner will be super happy to hear that. Hey local gaming store owners, I sincerely hope that Wizards of the Coast keeps making products that no one wants to buy. I don't get that logic. It makes no sense. The entire point of making a product is to sell it. If you slap a Steel Leaf Champion in here, what happens? People buy it. How crazy is that? How crazy is the idea that Wizards of the Coast makes a product, they sell it to the local gaming stores, and then here's the crazy part, local gaming stores actually sell the product to players. Now that is crazy. That's completely unheard of, and apparently that's something that a lot of Magic the Gathering players are against. They don't like the idea of local gaming stores having products that they can sell. I don't get that logic. Again, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. But that's what people argue. That's what you will see people make that argument, and I don't get it. I will say this though. Let me say something really quick in defense of the you can't print good cards in these. I think it is dangerous to print cards like, let's say, Teferi, or I don't know, maybe Nicol Bolas, like the really big, money chase rares. It's twofold as to why that's bad. One is that those are so good, they're worth double the MSRP of the gift pack, that most people would keep them instead of selling them. So yeah, that makes perfect sense. And also, you don't want to destroy the estimated value of the packs that are currently, selling. You don't want to destroy the EV, the estimated value of, stuff like Dominaria and Core Set 2019. So you don't want to put these cards in them. That makes perfect sense. But I would go so far as to say that you actually could put cards like, say, Carnage Tyrant or Rekindling Phoenix in it. And the reason for that is because those cards are in Ixalan, and Ixalan isn't going to be selling all that well over the next few months anyway. And you're not destroying the long-term value of those sets, because these are the types of cards that aren't going to be worth anything after rotation anyway. So, you don't want to print Walking Ballista in these. You don't want to print Fatal Push in these. You don't want to print, probably like Panharmonicon and Anointed Possession in these, because those have long-term value. Those are the types of things that are going to make booster boxes retain value after rotation, and that's very important for the success of Magic the Gathering. That's why it's succeeded better than so many other card games, because other card games, after sets rotate out of their respective standard or whatever they call it for whatever game, the old product's value starts to decay. And once it goes below what the local gaming stores paid for it, then they start losing money on it, and that card game starts to fail. So the fact that Magic the Gathering booster boxes retain value and even go up in value over time is a very good thing for local gaming stores, because if they don't sell the product immediately, which they want to do, they want to sell it when it's in standard, because it will sell much slower afterwards, but at the very least it is increasing in value over time, so they can technically increase their prices on it over time. So even if they're selling it slower, at least they're selling it for a higher and higher profit margin over time, and that's really good for them, and that's why Magic the Gathering is successful. So you don't want to destroy the cards that are going to make, like Ixalan valuable after rotation. So like Search for Azganta, for example, that's a modern playable card that will, retain value over time, so you don't want to demolish the value of that card. Rekindling Phoenix, on the other hand, not going to be worth anything after rotation, most likely. I could be wrong, but most likely not going to be worth anything. So you can print that card to oblivion, and it's not going to hurt the long-term success of the game, but you will now have a majorly successful product, and you can cash in on its value now while it's still valuable. Meanwhile, local gaming stores can, sell a good product that they're going to make a profit off of, and players can get their hands on cards that are, actually worth having at the moment, and you will have a successful product. A successful product needs to sell, and these are not designed to sell. These are designed to totally rip off new players and, like parents and grandparents, people who will be wooed by the packaging, because it definitely looks nice compared to every other Magic the Gathering product, which is basically just a box. So this looks nice, looks great on the shelf, great. People will buy it for that for sure, people who don't know what they're buying. But if you put good cards in these, not only will you still sell it to those people, but you will also sell it to actual Magic the Gathering players. And I know some people will say, well, if you put a good card in, then it'll sell out too fast. Well, the answer to that is to print more of it. That's even more crazy. Imagine that. Imagine that, guys. Not only is a product successful, but it's so successful that you need to print more of it and make money on it a second time. Whoa, crazy. Wow, that's just absurd. Making money twice? That's just bananas. That's unheard of. You can't possibly do that, especially if you're destroying the value of a card that's not worth very much now and definitely not going to be worth much after rotation. That's crazy talk. Crazy. What are you talking about? Making money off a Magic the Gathering product? No way. But man, I don't know. There's no reason for these not to contain good cards. And again, these are looking to emulate Pokemon EX boxes, and those were successful because they had good cards in them. They had $16 worth of boosters and a $20 box, and that extra $4 was typically made up for with like a $3 to $7 rare, and that made it worth it for people to purchase. So all you need to do is put a good card in this thing. It doesn't have to be super valuable. You could even print 5 $1 rares. You could print like, I don't know, I don't have any prices of things in front of me, but off the top of my head, you could print Josu Vest and maybe a Thorin Lieutenant. I think those are like $1.50 or $2 each. You could print $1 to $2 cards and be fine. You're not going to hurt the estimated value of Dominaria and Core Set 2019, and definitely not Ixalan and whatnot if you print, you know, like a $1 card. And not only that, but if you really want to be safe and you really don't want to hurt the value of those cards, you could even print a foil premium promo alternate art version of the card, and that will impact the value of what's in the booster packs significantly less, because people are more likely to hoard those and, you know, stick them straight into their binder. And before anyone says, well, that would cost more money to do, you know, to pay an artist, these are new cards, guys. They have 5 new pieces of art. So you could have done that with 5 actually good cards and then had a product worth buying. I don't know. It seems so obvious, and yet Wizards of the Coast just can't do it, and I don't know why. And what really makes it frustrating, the thing that, you know, actually concerns me the most, is that you can't keep pushing these really bad products on retailers. You can't keep shipping stuff like this off to local gaming stores and being okay with the fact that they might lose money on them. You definitely can't keep shipping these off to, like, you know, the Walmarts and the Targets and whatnot, because if they keep buying this garbage and then they don't sell it, they're gonna start buying less and less of your garbage going forward. It's bad for the long-term success of the game if you keep printing absolutely garbage product like this, and it's frustrating. We were just talking about the long-term success of, you know, the game by making sure that the estimated value of packs goes up over time by not overprinting, you know, the chase rares. That makes sense, but you're kind of doing the same thing by overprinting garbage products like this and just, you know, unloading them on stores and expecting that not to have an impact on future sales. It looks bad. It looks bad. I could say this, I haven't been in a GameStop in a while, but the last time I was in there, they had stacks and stacks and stacks of the old gift packs, and nobody wanted them. And the last time I heard, they were selling them for like 75% off, and that's not going to be good for GameStop. Like, GameStop's not going to be like, hey, you know what we should do? Wizards of the Coast is making this new product, let's buy a whole lot of it. That last product didn't sell like crap, no one bought it, we lost money on it, but yeah, we're totally gonna buy more. No, they're gonna stop buying. You can't keep, you know, taking advantage of retailers, because sooner or later they're just gonna stop buying. No, Wizards of the Coast really has become like a toxic gaming store, the kind of gaming store that, like, you know, doesn't give out promos and doesn't give out standard showdown packs, and, you know, like the type of place that files for a pre-release but then just keeps all the pre-release kits, you know, stuff like that. Like, that's what Wizards of the Coast has become. They seem more concerned about short-term profit, like, what can I make right now, and not thinking about the long-term impact of basically screwing over everyone around you. You know, like, if you keep screwing over retailers, eventually they're just gonna be like, nah, I don't want your product. We're not gonna buy any of that. And, you know, again, yeah, they're very similar to a bad local gaming store that does, you know, like, the type of place that gets all the free stuff from Wizards of the Coast, but then just unloads it on the internet. And even for them, like at this point, I'm much more sympathetic to those types of stores because Wizards of the Coast keeps unloading these horrible products on them. Like I can understand trying to make any bit of money you can any way possible, much more so than I was like, you know, a couple years ago, because man, it's just, this is so bad, and it's so consistently bad, and it's, you know, over and over and over again. And they've done really good things, like with the Challenger decks, which were successful. The Challenger decks had more value than their MSRP, and they sold. Isn't that crazy? That's all you really have to do, and it was successful. It was successful for local gaming stores. You know, people bought them. It was successful for, you know, the Walmarts and Targets. I'm sure they sold some of them. And I think, you know, it's good for everyone if you make a product that's good enough to sell. As crazy as that sounds, if you make a product that people will buy it, and it's good for everyone. I know it's bizarre, but it's true. But yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.